Can the J-10CE fighter jet truly break through the performance limits of fourth-generation fighters and carve out a niche for itself in skies dominated by fifth and even sixth-generation fighters? This question has recently sparked new discussion. On May 7, 2026, in reports by CCTV Military and other official media outlets, Li Jun, chief designer of the J-10CE fighter jet, clearly stated that the J-10CE still has significant room for improvement and is expected to remain operational for 2 to 3 decades, continuing to evolve through successive generations. In May 2025, the Pakistan Air Force's J-10CE achieved its first combat success during the India-Pakistan conflict, shooting down multiple Indian Air Force aircraft, including Rafale jets, without suffering any losses of its own. This combat success provided the most compelling market endorsement for the J-10CE. On May 7, the one-year anniversary of the India-Pakistan air battle, the Pakistan Air Force officially announced it would continue to purchase additional J-10CE aircraft while simultaneously advancing the upgrade plan for the JF-17 Thunderfighter. CCTV's military footage also showed a new export spec model with a different paint scheme from the Pakistani version, which observers interpreted as an indication that negotiations with new overseas buyers are underway. The Chinese solution, unrestricted by any third party, mentioned by the chief designer, highlights the J-10CE's advantage of full system autonomy and control. The WS-10B engine, domestically produced active phased array radar, and the Pili series of missiles are all domestically manufactured, ensuring that exports are not subject to external constraints. From the perspective of objective market demand, fourth-generation fighters will continue to have a significant role to play in the foreseeable future. For countries with limited defense budgets, procuring fifth-generation stealth fighters and establishing a support system represents a heavy burden. Until the 2050s, the vast majority of countries will still rely on fourth-generation non-stealth fighters as their mainstay. Even military powers equipped with fifth- and sixth-generation aircraft need to carry out a large number of routine patrols and low-intensity combat missions. Deploying high-cost stealth fighters for these tasks is not cost-effective, making it more appropriate to assign them to cost-effective models, like the J-10CE. This is also why the U.S. Air Force continues to procure the F-15X, and European nations continue to upgrade the Typhoon and Rafale. The fact that the J-7 and J-8 series remain active decades after entering service confirms that the chief designer's assertion that the J-10CE could remain in service until the 2050s is not unrealistic. Most noteworthy is the chief designer's statement that it will evolve through successive generations. Currently, there are two possible technical paths. The first is to continue down the non-stealth route, enhancing combat capabilities by retrofitting fifth-generation or even sixth-generation avionics. A typical reference model is the JF-17, J-10 Block III, which elevates a light fighter to a quasi 4.5 generation level by integrating an active phased array radar. The other is the US F-15X, which retains its non-stealth configuration, but supported by advanced digital avionics, electronic warfare systems, and networked combat capabilities, gains the ability to engage fifth-generation aircraft. The modification costs for this route are manageable, and economic advantages are maintained. For countries like Pakistan that have already established a J-10CE maintenance system, the model of keeping the hardware unchanged while continuously upgrading the backend systems is highly attractive. The second path involves stealth modification, developing a stealth version of the J-10CE. Given the successful development of the J-20 and J-35, implementing a certain degree of stealth design for the J-10CE is not technically insurmountable. Possible solutions include modifying the nose radar cross-section, reshaping the air intakes, and adopting serrated edge designs and radar-absorbing coatings. Boeing's F-15 Southeast, Silent Eagle, was a similar attempt, but ultimately did not receive orders because the ratio of modification costs to the resulting increase in stealth performance was not ideal. The 10CE stealth modification would face the same issue. The basic aerodynamic layout of a non-stealth fighter was not designed with radar stealth in mind, so no matter how much it is modified, it can only achieve a limited degree of stealth and cannot compare to native fifth-generation fighters. This brings us to the real challenge facing the stealth version of the J-10CE. Its market positioning overlaps with that of the J-35A. The J-35A is an export variant of a fifth-generation stealth fighter, that is gradually gaining traction in the market. Judging by the Pakistan Air Force's plans, Pakistan has clearly defined the direction of its next-generation fighter program. In the fleet upgrade plan announced on the first anniversary of the India-Pakistan conflict, the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Pakistan Air Force mentioned that a preliminary cooperation mechanism had been established regarding the introduction of the J-35A. German military aviation experts point out that the J-35A featuring the AVIC logo, shown on CCTV, is precisely the prototype of the export model, indicating that the aircraft is ready for export. It is only a matter of time before Pakistan procures the J-35A, with reports suggesting plans to purchase approximately 40 to 48 units. Given that Pakistan is already equipped with both the J-10CE and the JF-17, the appeal of the J-10CE upgrade, which offers only limited stealth capabilities, would be significantly diminished if the country were to acquire a true fifth-generation stealth fighter. For Pakistan, the stealth version of the J-10CE appears more like a compromise solution in the absence of access to a formal fifth-generation fighter. However, this does not mean that stealth modifications are entirely devoid of commercial value. There are specific user groups. Some countries, constrained by the international political environment, are currently unable to acquire fifth-generation stealth fighters through any channels and seek to possess a certain level of low observability. Other countries have limited defense budgets. Even if procurement channels for fifth-generation fighters were open, they could not afford a unit price exceeding $100 million. If the unit price of a stealth-modified fourth-generation fighter can be kept within the $50 million to $60 million range, and if it achieves a reasonable level of radar cross-section performance, it could be an attractive middle ground for these budget-sensitive customers. However, as production of the J-35A expands and unit prices gradually decline, the price advantage of stealth-modified fourth-generation fighters will become increasingly marginal. From the perspective of the global arms trade market, the J-10CE's core competitiveness lies not in its stealth capabilities, but in its combat effectiveness, proven in actual combat, and its unmatched cost-effectiveness. Data indicates that the J-10CE's export unit price is approximately $40 million, just half that of France's Rafale, yet it achieves over 80% of the latter's overall performance. During the 2025 India-Pakistan Air War, the Pakistan Air Force's J-10CE, guided by the ZDK-03 early warning aircraft, launched PL-15E air-to-air missiles, and successfully intercepted an Indian Rafale at a distance of approximately 200 kilometers, creating a remarkable real-world example of beyond visual range combat by a fourth-generation fighter. Combat performance is the best advertisement. The J-10CE's combat record is far more persuasive than any theoretical specifications. Compared to the limited reduction in radar cross-section achieved through stealth modifications, the J-10CE's proven combat effectiveness in integrated combat environments, coupled with the cost-sharing advantages derived from its large user base, constitute the most solid foundation for ensuring its 20 to 30-year service life. Rather than expending resources to develop a J-10CE variant with limited stealth capabilities and an awkward market positioning, it would be wiser to concentrate design and manufacturing resources on promoting the J-35A for export. In this way, the J-10CE can maintain its position in the non-stealth market while enhancing its information-based and network-centric warfare capabilities by retrofitting fifth or even sixth-generation avionics systems, allowing users to keep pace with evolving combat requirements without needing to replace the airframe. The J-10CE's path to iterative development may lie not in its external appearance, but in its cloud-based systems.